Friday Eve. So, hey guys, it's your crew. The Speak Up crew is in the building. What? So, you guys, it is Thursday. We're so excited. I mean, I've been counting down the week to Thursday. I used to count down to Friday. Now I'm counting down to Thursday, and I'm so excited that it is Speak Up Thursday. So you already know how we do. Before we even get into this topic, because you know it's juicy, I know you've seen the flyers. I know you've seen the flyers about some big events we have going on. We're going to discuss that later on in our podcast. But I know you've seen what today's topic is going to be, and I'm pretty sure you all have a lot to talk about concerning it. So, but before we get into that, you already know what to do. You already know what to do. Go ahead and click. Get the mouse, click it. Where you at? Click it, click it. It says share right there in the bottom right-hand corner. Hit that share button so that we can make sure that everybody takes part in this conversation, because you know what? Everybody has something to say about this topic. I guarantee it. You know, we always hit you with the juicy stuff. So go ahead, hit that share at the bottom right-hand corner. Call your cousin, call your aunt. I done called all my family, all my cousins, all of them. Right. They're going to be watching tonight. Hit up your favorite groups. Let them know what's going on. This is the place they want to be on Facebook right now. So before we get into it, we got to introduce this banging crew. You know, my peoples, you know what I'm saying? My homies. I got to introduce my homies, my Speak Up homies. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I know you guys already know who we are, but for some of you guys who do not know, we have the beautiful, lovely Erica. Say hey, Erica.
Hey, guys.
And we have the lovely, so sweet, she's so gentle, so pleasant, the beautiful Tamika. Hi, Tamika.
Well, hi, guys.
So extra.
We love it, though.
And then we have him.
Yes, that's how we doing it. That's how we doing it.
I want to keep a job. So I want to introduce the man of the hour, the man with the master plan. Hey, the man with the master plan. What? Dwayne Ray, aka BJ, aka
no.
Yeah.
Just stop it. You just messed it all up. Just stop.
So before we have so many things we want to talk about tonight, and we have a special guest we're not gonna bring her up yet, so just chill out, be patient. But Blaine, hit us up with Speak Up Happenings, man. What's going on in these streets?
Well, for one thing, before we go to Speak Up Happenings, I think we are going to introduce her. All right, Tamika? Or what?
After you.
Oh, well, the topic for the day, of course, is bullying, tough parenting, and prison reform. One of the things I want to share with everybody is an example of tough parenting, and I'm going to show an example of bullying for today. So first thing we're going to show is the tough parenting. All right. So to give a brief explanation about it, the dad goes to the school after the student keeps on messing up, getting in trouble, whatever else. So he kind of takes tough parenting in his own hands, which leads to this. So bear with me real quick. Boom. Boom. Bye. So what he does is he sits in the classroom. Kind of want to skip to the main part. All right. So the main thing is right here. He's holding his hand. He's embarrassing him.
Oh my God.
I don't think I'll act up either after this.
He's holding his hand?
Holding his hand down the hallway.
Oh, wow. And he's smiling too.
Look, I want to wind it back a little bit so everybody can see it. Excuse the language. Right here. Boom. You see that? He is holding his hand. All right.
That's so awesome.
Now I'm gonna stop the share on this one. And I'm gonna bring up one more video that I want everybody to see. If I can find it. Sorry about I had the videos posted, but my computer started to act up today, wanted to update at last minute. So excuse me for this. I usually have the videos up. Mm, mm, I cannot find the video now.
Well, hello to everybody watching. Yolanda, Avery, Kim, Velma.
Hey,
Hey,
Velma.
Kat.
Hey. Oh, my
Yeah.
mommy is here. Hi, mommy.
Hey, Adrian. Hey,
Uh-oh.
John, too.
My sister is here. Hi, sissy.
Hey, John, too.
Hey, y'all keep. So look, I can't find the video, but what I can say about it was a student that they got up on top of the table, and they started bullying the teacher.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know how that happens, but basically the student, it was a female. She started dancing on the table. Everybody was recording it. Everybody thought it was funny, and she just basically made the teacher leave. So I wanted to show that, but apparently I couldn't find the video now. Maybe it got taken down. But with that being said, that leads me back to the topic: bullying, tough parenting, and prison reform. All right. The way I think all this relates to each other is because bullying leads to bigger things. It leads to criminal acts, I believe, if it's not checked. Tough parenting comes in because I feel like you should be able to check your kid. If you don't check your kid, if you're not checking your kid, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, then when they're 15 or they're 18 years old, they're 19 years old, and you didn't do what you were supposed to do, give them that tough parent love, then you're also, I mean, they're going to be in a situation where they can't get themselves out of, period. That kind of leads to prison reform. I have some topics to bring up right now, but I'm not going to hit y'all with everything because I know the comments will start blowing up, and I'm waiting for my stuff to come up.
I think one of the saddest things so far about bullying is that it's leading to children suicides. So a lot of children are killing themselves, babies too, because they're getting bullied in school. And so that I've heard a lot of those stories this year.
Yeah, there was one recently, African-American young Black girl. I think she was maybe 9 or 10 years old. Her mother found her hanging in the car because she was being bullied and picked on, and she just killed herself. And I don't think that there was any signs.
There weren't. Mom said it was she was her normal self.
And she just went into her closet and hung us. I mean, that news was just so devastating of that child killing herself. And bullying is definitely an issue. And bullying, it doesn't even just happen in school these days. You see how these children was bullying the teacher he was talking about?
Right.
You have bullying in the workplace. Bullying can happen anywhere.
That's true.
So we need to definitely heighten our senses concerning that, and get tougher, become like these tough parents that we're about to talk about.
Right. And really, it starts when they're younger. It starts with the tantrum. And so some children, they use that as a way to bully the parent into getting what they want. And so they realize, if I fall out, if I cry, I'm gonna get that piece of candy, or I'm gonna get that toy. And then later on, it leads to putting their hands on their parents, or punching holes in the wall, or doing other crazy things to get their way as well. It's just a means of getting what they want.
I wish my child would. I'll tell you right now, I wish. Yeah, I'm one of those parents that I don't think I would be considered a tough parent, but I'm one of those parents that whatever my child do in public, I'm going to do it right along with them so they can see how stupid they look. So that's just me. But this whole bullying thing, you do see it first, and I see it a lot, being that I do work around children. I see it a lot where kids are being bullied. I remember being bullied when I was a little girl, man. Shoot, I remember one bullying situation like it was yesterday, and it's still like I'm 37 years old, and I still, when I saw the person once I moved back home, man, we're grown, and I still was like, oh, wait a minute, I remember her. And it's just like,
oh my gosh,
I'm still like, and even when I speak at events like for teenagers and children and things like that, I always use that I probably done made this person famous. I'm not going to say the person's name, but I remember her bullying me so to the point where I remember the last week of school, I got suspended for bringing a box cutter to school because I felt like I had to figure out a way to defend myself just in case, because she told me she was going to kill me.
Oh, wow.
And I remember thinking, oh my God, okay, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die a legend. I'm slicing. And I felt like I didn't have any other way to do it because I couldn't tell my mom. I couldn't tell, well, I did tell the principals, and a lot of times they don't see. But I remember feeling like I had no other option but to defend myself. And it just so happens that they had a weapons check at the school that day. And I was so scared, and they went search my pocketbook and saw this box cutter in my pocketbook. And I was suspended for the rest of the school year. Thankfully, it was only one week, but to the point, it's to think that someone scared me to the point where I thought I was really going to die.
Right.
To the point where I brought a weapon to school to defend myself. Like, that's crazy. And to the point
really,
where,
Lenny, it's a good thing because you could have been in jail right now.
Right, exactly.
Hey, you want to be
worse.
I know you would have been. I know you would have been on the podcast.
Look, with a different type of podcast.
I'm just saying.
I probably wouldn't have been here either.
Bullying very serious. It has a lifelong effect on a person because, like I said, I moved back home. I was at a school function and the person walked in the same room and I was like, oh, and I'm 37, like I'm grown. And this happened when I was like 10 and 12. And I'm like, it still affects me. So it's a life-changing situation for some people. You know? And these kids. So yeah. Go ahead, Blaine.
Hey, so before we introduce our guest, I want to go ahead. I finally was able to get the picture. That's why you see me looking down at everything. So I'm gonna share this real quick. And I want to share this real quick because this could be anybody's kid. All right.
Jesus.
If you can see this is a 14-year-old kid sentenced to 10 years in prison for violent armed robberies. All right. So that means he's going to serve 4 years in juvie and the remainder of the 6 in an adult prison. All right. So what happened if somebody else read this story or you saw it, what basically happened is he robbed 3 people by gunpoint. All right. Before he robbed them by gunpoint, he was already being bullied, bullying kids, whatever else. The mom, from my understanding, had a busy job and she couldn't really, take care of the incidents. All right. One thing led to another. And here we are, a kid, 14 years old. 14 years old. And this is where the tough parenting comes in at. This is where you gotta quit saying your kid is so innocent, saying your kid's not doing anything, thinking your kid is just a perfect child. All right. Before you say your child is perfect, remember what you used to do as a kid, because we all did something and times it by 3. All right. So that was crazy. When I saw that story, man, it was just like that could have been my son, that could be my daughters or whatever else. Well, I'm glad I am the way I am with them, but I just wanted to show that to like kind of wake everybody up. Like it can happen to your kid easily if you're not involved. So with that being said, let's go, Tamika. Once you get done, drinking, whatever, you can go ahead and introduce.
It was a little parched, Blaine.
I know, right? Putting her on blast.
All right. So tonight we do have a special guest on the show, and she has a long and lengthy bio because she is very, very, very important to our community. So I'm going to do my best to shorten it as best I can because she has a beautiful, beautiful bio that deserves to be told, the entire thing. Her name is Utica Kaysen. She will be joining us here in a little bit. She is the founder and the CEO of SOAR Outreach. She lived in Raleigh for over 30 years. She attended SUNY, Empire State College, and majored in family and human services. Her background is in affordable housing, criminal justice, real estate, nonprofit, human services experience. She's volunteered volunteered with several nonprofit organizations in the community. She's a board member and assistant director, and she has a passion for helping others and giving back in the community. So she established SOAR in 2014 to assist underserved individuals in the Wake County area with resources and education. So SOAR is focused on assisting individuals in promoting and learning and offering hope to underserved individuals in the community while eliminating humiliation that may be felt in programs to assist for a healthy hygiene in Wake County. So she's going to explain all of that once she get on. So I want you guys to give a warm welcome in the comments to Utica Kaysen as we bring her on our show tonight to talk about prison reform, bullying, and tough parenting, along with the Way to Parents Speak Up podcast group. Welcome, Utica.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me, guys.
So Utica, did anybody want to start, or did you? Because I was getting ready to jump in right away.
Jump in, Mika.
Go ahead. You got it.
So Utica, if you don't mind, give us a brief overview over what SOAR is so that our viewers can better understand what your foundation and organization does.
So SOAR stands for Stay Out and Renew, and that's basically stay out and renew different social economic situations that affect individuals in the community. We currently have 2 programs that we launch: our Healthy Hygiene program, where we donate hygiene kits to Wake County youth that attends a Title I school, homeless or transition, or resides in a low-income household. Providing those tools to students allow them to want to attend school, also eliminate bullying, but also provide self-confidence. There's the National Association of Psychology states that bullying affects 40 to 80% of students throughout their school year. So that's a high percentage.
Yes.
Our second program is Helping Parents that we just launched, which is a support group for parents that have youth involved in the juvenile justice system. I experienced that personally with my child, where he was involved in the juvenile justice system for 4 years. And so there's really no resources for parents that's going through that. There are tons of resources for the youth, but also the parents have to be a part of that process where, it caused a lot of emotional, physical, mentally, and financial hardship to families. So when I was going through that for those 4 years, there was no support for me. I relied on my family, which, tried to be a support, but it's hard when you're a single parent and you have to endure this with your child, and also experience your child being placed out of the homes on several occasions where they're residing in other facilities. So I wanted to start something to help parents that provide them with an outlet where they can talk and discuss about their experience, share their resources, but also get introduced to other community resources, but also get educated on the juvenile justice system. I know for me, it was like trial by fire. You don't learn the criminal justice system until you're actually part of the system. And so, learning what is a secured custody hearing, different things, hearings, different programs, what's the final disposition, what is a youth detention center, different terminology that you will hear while you're going through that process. Also trying to be an advocate for your child. Right. That is your child, you're their biggest cheerleader. So, once you going through this process, you want to be able to also be an advocate for your child because you want them to go on the right path or provided with the different resources so they can become successful and get out of this system. So that's why I came up with the Helping Parents support group.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's our motto anyway.
Yes, absolutely. That's our motto. Thank you so much, Erica.
So I guess my main question would be, I know you said parents need to advocate for their children. So for I know you said you were a single mom. Do you suggest that the single mom looks for mentors or someone who can also assist with their children? Because sometimes as a single mom, you just don't know which way to go. You just get so frustrated. You don't know which route to take. Seems like everything you're doing is making situations worse. So do you suggest that they reach out to mentors or counselors, or how do you feel they should go about doing that?
I think it's best to check out the different resources that are available in the community. Mentors are great, but there's a very high shortage of male mentors in the local community here. So having a male child and trying to partner with another male is going to be difficult. So you have to come to try different maybe groups, youth groups, that will help them to help with self-confidence, schools, social skills. That's another option if you can't, be able to locate a mentor to work with your youth.
Got it. Great information.
Thank you.
So,
what were you saying, Blaine?
I would say, so with that being said, I kind of want to hit the bullying and the tough parenting, because I see some things today. I don't know if everybody saw on social media. This child was bullying consistently. So the dad made her walk 5 miles to school.
Yeah.
All right. It was like, it went viral today. My thing is, when you read the comments underneath there, everybody's saying, oh, okay, that's child abuse. It's too tough, whatever else. But I think people are failing to realize he said consistently she was bullying people, and he did other measures, whatever else, that he thought that would stop it, but it didn't. So it led to her walking 5 miles to school. Now, me personally, would I have made her walk 5 miles? No. But at the end of the day, so what is too tough? Like, I think back in the day when I was growing up, when we didn't have all this social media, you talk about child abuse, not my parents, but I'm just saying child abuse is really going on back then. Like, it was, hey, you did something, you got your butt whooped. Now you can't do the same thing. You can't do the same things like you did back in the day because it's considered child abuse. And I think the aspect of it is we're so in a social media world now, and anything you do is judged, and everything you say or do is put on social media, that you can't really discipline your kids, or you're not, or it's judged as you're too tough. So
but sometimes disciplining is not the answer, I feel.
Well, you don't gotta physically touch them. You don't have to physically touch. It's other avenues to different for change. For example, I'm not gonna say I am gonna say what I did. You know what? Hey, I found a dictionary that was heavy. Hey, it was one of the military tactics. Hey, hold it out right here and hold it for 15 minutes. You get tired, hold it above your head. You get tired, hold it right here. At the end of
my Bell's Bosman, homie, just in case.
Hey, you said what?
Let me get my homie that
He about to go to jail, Lenny. He about to go to jail.
Hey, if I get locked up, hey, y'all bail me out, all right?
But
look, you know we are live.
Hey, I don't care. Hey, but at the end of the day, though, you're not physically touching them. But what it does is it gives the child muscle failure because they're not used to working out. So you're so sore the next day that it kind of stays with them a couple of days. When they think they want to act up, they feel that soreness in their arms. And truthfully, when I tried that method, it worked. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to physically touch him at all. First of all, it's always my son. So let me just be clear about that. But I mean, there's other aspects I think that you can do from bullying to change the bullying aspect other than physically touching them. One thing is also being involved in your child's life and kind of knowing what the teachers are saying, find out what they're doing. Because if you're not, it's going to lead to what I call going to jail.
Mega agrees with you.
Yo, I'm telling you, hey.
I don't know, man.
I'm telling you, I got some exercises that, I don't even like to do. I learned in the military, and look, they told me to do an exercise. I probably wanted to cry when I used to get in trouble. But
I think that as parents, it's important that we pay attention to our children so that we would know how to discipline our children, because what you do with one, you might not do with the other.
Right.
And then we have to also be careful and cautious because we don't want to become the bully, you know, and a lot of times parents can become the bully. Like there's certain things you can do to a child to correct them, but when you go overboard, now you are the bully. You need to be punished. To me.
Well, what's considered overboard? I'm not saying smack your child in the face.
It depends on the kid. To me, like for example, you know, we're all parents. It's something about when you have children, when that child comes into the world and you hear that first cry, something supernaturally comes over parents to know their children. My theory. But I know, like with my kids, my 2 daughters, I know that what I do with one, might not work with the other. Like my oldest daughter, I have to fuss. I have to like yell at her to get her attention sometimes.
And
my youngest one, I just have to look at her and just say, you know what, I'm very disappointed. And that's like I might have spanked her or something. She's like in tears. It's very dramatic. It's just like the end of the world. Just by me saying I'm disappointed. So I don't you have to be cautious with that. Like with my little brother on the other hand,
no,
that's a whole different situation.
But I mean, boys are tougher. Boys are tougher, period. I mean, I have 2 girls and I have a son, so I kind of know the difference. You know, me raising my voice a little bit for my daughters, you know, I get an instant reaction. My son, I have to like physically, like he has to physically know I'm there, like doing something for him to like have a change. Now, what that leads to my next thing, which is tough parenting. Now, with tough parenting, everything I said, some people may disagree, whatever else. But what I'm sick and tired of is like you got kids going to school, you got kids going here, you got kids going to any store disrespecting older generations, whatever. And it's like they're doing it for likes, they're doing it for Facebook, they're doing it for social media, period. And I think that involves tough parenting. Like when somebody comes to you about your child and it's multiple people, you shouldn't ignore it. You shouldn't sit here and say, oh, well, I don't think it's my child. I think it's like, it's you. Or I think that you're lying. You know, that is what's wrong with today's society, because even when you see it on Facebook or you see it on social media, you say, well, what did you do? Ain't about what the other person did. Why would your child feel comfortable to the point where they think they can just do what they want? Like, where does a tough parenting come in?
The problem is that in the generation of children that we have now, most of their parents were kids when they had them, first of all. And then a lot of them, it doesn't really have to do with tough parenting. It's just parenting in general. We have a lot of people who want to be the child's friend instead of being the child's parent. Like I tell my kids all the time, my daughter said, Mom, you're my best friend. No, I'm not. I'm your mom. I'm not your best friend. That's what you got TT and all the other people for. I'm here to be your parent. Now, once you get out of my house and get grown, get married, have some kids, start paying your own bills, then we can be best friends. We can be kumbaya partners. But right now, I'm your mama. And I think that as a parent, the problem is that we're not setting guidelines for our children. You know, like my kids have guidelines. Like, for example, it burns me up when I'm in my office and a kid comes in and says, they don't say, excuse me. They don't say, good morning, good afternoon. They just immediately go into their conversation like we were already in the conversation. Doesn't matter if I'm talking to anybody. There's no structure. There's no discipline. There's no order. The child hasn't been taught in order. They don't say yes, ma'am. They don't say no, sir. They don't say yes. They just sup, that kind of thing. But that's poor parenting. That's not the lack of tough parenting. That's just the lack of parenting in general.
I do want to look at some of the comments that's being said right now because we kind of getting lit right now. I know I like what Mega said. He said, I think the word bully has been overused in this society. We are too soft. I wouldn't say we are too soft. I'll say the new generation is soft. You can't even say anything to them or even say something about, hey, your child is bad. Let's have a conference while bickering going on, you know? So in that degree, I agree. I'm not soft. I know my kids won't say I'm soft, but you said what?
I said,
do you feel that there is?
We your kids. We're gonna talk about that later.
Hold on. Do you feel there is a way for a parent to be able to discipline and not go overboard to keep their child out of the system? Like, what pointers do you have?
Definitely.
So
definitely, I think that I think.
What-
Oh, were you talking to her, girl?
Well,
I'm sorry.
yeah, we talking to her. Pause.
I was talking to you.
You know, I always got an opinion.
Hey,
Ready,
don't worry
ready,
about that. We gonna put her on timeout.
Look,
Boom.
she ready. That's all.
I always got something to say. I always got something to say.
Oh, so
Miss Kaysen.
okay. So I think going back, like you're saying, tough parenting, there's different things you can do. I think one is, have your child, like what the other parent did, kind of embarrass them, have them go around the neighborhood and say, hey, since it's fall, hey, knock on the door and say, and the parent can tell the story, this is what my child did and this is their punishment. They're going around the neighborhood and they're going to rake up the leaves for some of the neighbors. Another option is have them to volunteer at a homeless shelter. Put them in a situation that makes them feel uncomfortable, or they're not going to feel like, it's somewhere they want to be.
I like that.
Exactly.
I like that a lot.
Exactly.
I like that.
Going back to bullying, with my son, how he ended up in the juvenile justice system, that was the first thing, bullying. He was being bullied by an older student at his school, and it resulted in him taking my credit card, charging $600 worth of items on Walmart.com. And eventually, my mom, old school, she was like, hey, I'm taking you to the police station, which she did, and they filed charges. And so that's how he started in the juvenile justice system. And it went from that to it just kept going. So, sometimes you have to think about, how you want to discipline your child. With me, I'm an advocate of don't start the unruly, undisciplined petition on your child, because once that's started, they're already in the system. And only results into something else happen. It could be where they get suspended from school because of a fight, assault, stealing. It could be a drug charge. And the next thing you know, they're still caught up in that system and become a revolving door. So try to handle it outside your home. Come up with some different strategies. Like I said, possibly, like you're saying, physical. If it's a child, that do not like doing physical, don't want to work out, but, or it could be a child that's on a basketball team or football team. Have them work out. Do yard work, whatever it may be around the house as a form of discipline.
Just take it away.
Well, you good?
Okay.
Just take the basketball privileges away.
That too. That could be an option, but like you say, you have to get creative, because what you do for one child, you may not be able to discipline another child by, speaking of, like you were saying, Lenny, earlier, you can say one thing to one child and they think the whole world is ended. And then you have one child where you physically go into blows and the cops keep coming to your house. So, you have to come up with what works for each child. If there's 2 children or more within that you're a parent of.
And I also want to ask you, Utica, since we're going and talking about the system and talking about, how the bullying led. Now, once these children get into this system and they start on this cycle, from my experience, I have a brother who went through he's in the same cycle. Once he started getting in trouble, it's like it just kept going. This thing follows them no matter if they're 10, 14, it follows them, right? Even in school, aren't they starting to actually build a rap sheet, basically, for lack of a better word, with police or prison or something like that?
They do. And they also, like you said, become a statistic or become someone that's known by the neighborhood cop, the principals, because it's what they say, it's that child is, the trouble kid, that, the same old saying, don't expect their parents involved. We used to this, just go ahead and take him, do the petition. So it does continue, can be a cycle. That's why it's very important to be involved. It's very important to attend these teacher conferences. If you do have a child in juvenile, attend the hearings, go to the appointments with the court counselor, show that you are an active individual in your child's life. You'll get better results. People will remember you. my child, even though he went through the system for 4 years, he's one of the court counselor success story because he's very smart. He's very intelligent. You know, he's getting ready to graduate this Saturday with his associate's degree. So he didn't let that really define him. So, you know, he is, when I presented my program to the Wake County juvenile justice system, they remember me, you know, and I remember some of them from being in the courtroom myself on numerous occasions with my child. And, you know, his court counselor, she will tell you, he's my #1 success youth I had. So, you know, just stay active. Like I said, you is your child's cheerleader. No one is going to cheer for your child but you, and you have to do that. You know, we so quick to give up and throw our hands up, and you just can't do that. You know, once you do that, they start to become a statistic, and then once they leave the juvenile system, then they go into the adult system, and it's a whole different ball game.
So were you saying that? I just want to touch on the prison reform. All right. So prison reform is basically rehabilitation within the prison system of programs. All right. To me, from doing research today, last couple of weeks, it seems I'm kind of biased against it. All right. So like you just said, once they go in the system, they're in the system. All right. Example, we had I don't know if anybody heard the Meek Mill story on Breakfast Club this morning or anything else, but he was basically in the system for 11 years on so-called probation. He didn't even know what he was on until he actually found out that they so-called said he was on bail. Now, if you think about it, bail doesn't add up to be on. You don't be on bail for 11 years.
No, you do not.
All right. Second, it was I think it was on marijuana charge or something. I don't know the exact charge, but the charge was minor, but he was on probation for 11 years. All right. And that doesn't go into every other person. I wanted to explain 47% of prisons are Black Americans. All right. 80% of people released within 5 years go back. All right. So with that being said, I just wanted that to be said because
80%.
80% of people released from jail go back. All right.
That's true.
That's a high number.
Yes. 47% of Black African Americans are in jail. And a lot of people don't understand the prison system.
Wait. Go back. You said 47% of African Americans.
Prisons are filled with the incarcerated is 47% of Black African Americans.
It's 47% populated by.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
That's half of the system.
Yeah. So with that being said, I wanted to say, well, you just kind of messed my whole flow up, man.
Well, get it back. Get it back.
I'm trying to say, I'm thinking of it. So with that being said, a lot of people don't understand that, or they don't care to research. The prison system is $1 billion industry. All right. Part of prison reform, which is not documented or known, is to keep the jails or the prisons full. All right. So this is why when you have that kid getting pulled over for marijuana, they're serving 1 to 10 years, while they're serving minor charges from 2 to 20. Like at the end of the day, this is why marijuana is now, and I don't want to switch the subject about switching to marijuana or anything else, but this is just an example why marijuana is now being legalized, and they have yet to release anybody who's been locked up for marijuana, because they gotta hit that quota and the quota. Yeah, and it's $1 billion industry. It's privately owned. A lot of people from the Congress own or invest into the prisons.
It's good money.
So with that being said, this is why I say you got to do tough parenting. You got to inform your kid. You got to be tough on your kids, because once they get in that system, it's hard to get them out. And once they targeted or they're arrested, and it's a wrap. We already know, unless you have a lot of money, it's hard to go to court and get them a good lawyer that's going to do their research and get them free. Even without probation, it's always something. And even if they do get probation, somebody like, example, Meek Mills, who was lucky, you know, he had 11 years of probation. Like, do you know you gotta walk on eggshells for 11 years? That's crazy. That's unheard of.
Can't travel and none of that stuff.
I mean, you can travel. You got to be approved though by your court. Everything had to be approval. So when it comes to bullying leads to bigger things. Bigger things lead to criminal things, and it all starts at home. You got to be tough on your kids, because
the sad part about this whole thing, the prison situation. You know, I'm thinking about that 47% you were talking about. The sad part about it is, majority of those people, they start the whole that whole prison process of their life as juveniles. Like, they start that early on. Because I'm thinking about, like, now, even with school systems, you know, the first thing they do is the first little thing that happens, they call that SRO. They call that police officer. And
because you're brainwashed.
Some type of program. So it's like they're setting our children up in some way. It's almost like they're setting our children up to be incarcerated.
Well, so, I don't really want to go deep into that. That's another subject, because I've been feeling that like that since high school.
Bullying.
Hey, because when you start middle school, what do? You get in trouble. You go ISS. You're in there you're in a room for days, depending on what you did. When you go to high school, you know, being that I went to Hoke, you go to Turlington School. Then you dress different. You gotta dress. You gotta put on line. You gotta do everything differently. So it's already mentally being reinstilled in you for prison, depending who you are. You know.
Blaine, can I speak on the prison reform?
Go ahead. We ready.
So pretty much prisons are built based off third graders' test scores. That's where it starts. Like you said, most prisons are privately owned. It costs taxpayers over $30,000 to house one inmate for the year. That's a lot of money. The reform, pretty much when you have criminal charges on, you know, your criminal record have charges on there, and when you come back home from reentry, there's supposed to be different programs and services out here to help you kind of start over again. But the struggle is you already have these charges on your criminal record, so you're struggling with housing, try to attain employment, try to provide for your family, all these different everyday necessities that everyone needs, where you're getting shut down and the doors closed in front of you. So you back to doing what you did before, which was robbing or selling drugs. And that's the reason why you end up what they call recidivism, back in the system again. So you sometimes have to check, like you said, with it being a private industry, a lot of your stocks and bonds that you invest into building those prisons.
Exactly. And that comes with research. Like, the thing is, we all want to make money, we want to reinvest, but we don't research, and that's the problem. And with that being said, like, the people I don't want to get too political, because a lot of people don't really read.
Did you see what Bertha wrote?
Let me check it out. Blaine Joy, they just released 6,000 in feds over drugs because of wrongful charges. But you're right, bully causes a lot of issues with kids. If they go back to prison, they choose to go back because they're comfortable. You gotta understand. Hey, we gonna open lines up in 2 minutes. Hey, usually we open lines earlier, but I want to say this: they go back because they're comfortable. I mean, you gotta think about it. Like this kid I just showed, he's about to be placed in the prison system in juvie at 14 years old. All right.
What should they do in situations like that, especially when you have children that are repeat offenders? Like y'all know my personal story, my situation. What do you do when children actually are acting out repeat offenders? You know, and I understand that there are situations where people, you know, they're trying to, you know, make money and they're doing things with the reform or whatever, but what can a parent do, or what can, you know, like me, a big sister do with a child that consistently gets in trouble? We got to start there. We got to start there, stopping the behavior so we can stop them from getting in trouble and being, you know, their attention being raised to the officials that want to put them in jail and do all of this. What can we do starting there?
I mean, I think it's tough when you have a kid. Maybe he may be, I don't know, it's the exact thing what he does, but he may be acting out. It may be numerous things, like he may be getting picked on. It's a lot of things kids do they don't say.
And he's had counseling on top of counseling. Okay, my parents have put in time and money on top, and this kid has
But
consistently.
but sometimes you gotta.
It may just be a mental disorder.
It can be mental, or sometimes you gotta find out what that kid likes to do. Example, if he plays sports, he play basketball. Take that kid to the gym. Take that kid to the gym. Do a shoot around. Play a game with him. Relate to him somehow, and get him to open up and see what's really going on.
I think Blaine, I think of, coming saying, I think what an issue is too, is sometimes we need to sit down and have a conversation with our child. We're quick to have a conversation, but we're telling the child what we want to tell them. Instead, sit back and listen to them and let them tell you what the issue is, what's going on with them. And if it's not you, find someone else that they're willing to confide in, another family member. Like with my family, it's my mom, it's grandma, all the guys, all the boys.
You're right.
Homes to grandma. They'll tell grandma anything. So it's grandma, or it could be the mom's best friend, or just need to be someone that they can confide in and feel like, if I tell you something, I'm not going to get a whooping. I'm not going to get grounded. I'm not going to right. Yeah.
But that's what I was saying. Sometimes also, if they can't tell that person not around, put them in an environment that they like too. An example, some parents like to fuss and they don't relate to the parent. I mean, to the child. So,
I think that one big thing, Blaine, is that sometimes I agree with what you said about having a conversation with our children. But when we have that conversation with our children, we have to make sure that we do not belittle what they're saying in the process. Because a lot of times we'll belittle what our children are going through, not doing it on purpose, but we do belittle their situations. And we're like, they might be going through a problem. Like, for example, their problem could be something with a friend that at our age, we might think, oh, that's nothing. That's no big deal. And to us, it might not be a big deal because we've already lived there, done that. But to them, it is a big deal. And sometimes we belittle what they're going through because our problem is so much bigger. And when we do that, that's showing them that we're not concerned. That's showing them that it's not important to them. So we have to make sure that when we do have those conversations, we're having the conversation on their level and with an open mind. I think a lot of times when I talk to my kids, I always ask myself, now, what would my mom have said that would have turned me away from talking to her?
Right.
So I can make sure I don't say that or respond that way because I want to have the conversation. You know what I'm saying?
And you're totally right. And I want to go to the comments. Ray Brooks said, at what point do you ask people to be accountable for their actions? You can't allow people to offend without consequences. I grew up in a terrible environment, drugs, gangs, murders, etc. I was bullied, abused, you name it. It started at home. I had a grandmother who did everything she could to remind me that my destiny was in my hands. That took me leaving home completely to start my journey. We got Avery that says they'll shut down on you in a heartbeat if they don't feel comfortable. I mean, both of those statements are true. And that's why I'm saying, hold on, I'll go back to you, Ray. But what Avery's saying, like, yeah, they don't feel comfortable. Yeah, they will shut down. But put them in an environment, like I said, find out what they like to do. Like, I think every parent should know what their kid likes to do. Example, my son. Let me tell you how I put it to my son. My son used to talk to me all the time. All right. It was tough talking to him, figure out what was going on. And he said, what are you doing? Why are you always getting in trouble? All right. What I had to do was, he likes to play basketball just as much as me. And he likes to play video games. So what did we do? I started opening up myself to play video games with him and going to the gym with him. And we started opening up more. And we was able to have a conversation. And yeah, some of it he told me and I thought was true. Other times I'm like, nah, that's just you, you know. But it was still an opportunity to open it up and whatever, and kind of come to the conclusion and help him out. But with that being said, I do want to open the phone lines up. Hey, Ray, we ain't forget about you at all. But hey, I do want to open the phone lines up real fast. Let everybody call in.
Real quick, I want to, while we're waiting on the phone line, so just to piggyback off of Lenny, also I feel sometimes you can overreact.
Tamika, post some lines.
I am.
So overreacting also will turn your child away too. That's what I was trying to say, Blaine. also, as well as belittling, but overreacting. When they come and tell you something and you blow up and you get mad, it will discourage them from coming to talk to you about future things. So I, as a parent, had to learn that my own self, because I feel like I'm so emotional at times, but definitely overreacting is bad. Is my mic crazy?
It just went crazy just now.
Did it? Okay.
Just because they had
All right, the phone lines are open. The phone number is I just placed it inside the comment section. So if you have a comment that you want to make, you may call in, but remember, you only get a couple minutes to speak. So if you start a little lengthy, then I'm no sermon.
Hey.
Yeah. So when you call in, please make sure that you make your point and ask your question if you have a question for any of the staff or Utica, and we will go ahead and try to answer that, and then we will say, have a good one.
Hey, going back to Ray Brooks, at what point do you ask people to be accountable for their actions? Man, I've been saying that since day one. I think everybody should be accountable for their actions, especially I think if we hold some parents accountable, some parents, like it depends on what the kid is doing and bullying and whatever else, because some parents are single parents and they can't monitor both. But I feel like some parents should be accountable, and they should hold, and that child should be held liable too, depending on the action. Because some of the stuff is just getting extreme, man. It's getting so extreme that I think that social media has multiplied bullying times 10, or any events times 10, because everybody's doing it for likes. Everybody's doing it to go viral. Everybody wants to be that viral person for the year. You know what I'm saying? So,
and I think that's something that Mega Roberts posted in there, and he was saying that sometimes, or I think either Mega or Rizzy, I'm not sure. I think it was Rizzy or Mega, said that some children just want to fit in. They just want to, and that's why I think was the situation with my brother. I think he just wants to fit in. He just wants to be a part of the crowd. Because he's got everything. He has no reason. He got a 2-parent home, parents that love him, everything. And we relate to him. We let him play basketball. We let him do what he wants. He still just stays in trouble.
But you said a key. You said a couple of key things. You let him do what he want. He has everything.
Not let him do what he want. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying he doesn't have an excuse to say that he don't have nice clothes. He don't have that.
But do y'all do takeaways?
Of course. That's where it started. My dad
but what's the takeaway for? All right, I don't want to get too deep in it, but I know how my takeaway is. My takeaway is like, you want what?
Yeah, exactly.
Next year, we'll talk about that next year.
Last year, I took Christmas away last year.
Hey,
wow.
Hey, but look,
open up your presents. Mommy's gonna get the receipt. Let's go back to the store. Help me send out the car. We're gonna take it back. Merry Christmas.
You took everything back, Lenny?
Look,
I took everything, even the batteries.
Lenny, hey, Lenny. Hey, Lenny, pound it, Lenny.
Wow.
Hey, look.
Wow.
We take clothes and shoes too. You want those Jordans, $100 shoes? Get them back.
But look, you as a single parent, you gotta take stuff to extreme measures, man, because these kids think you're a joke and everything else. They don't understand. Like, I'm not playing with you no more. Like, I'm gonna give an example. Yesterday, my story. My son loves his hairstyle. You know how they scrub the hair up and it's like the curly nappy thing, whatever. I'm more of a low cut wave type guy. So my son wanted this style. He wanted it. Hey, I said, okay, hey son, look, you want it, you can have it. But we're gonna agree, man to man. All right, man to man. We're gonna agree that if you have this hairstyle, if I get any call from a teacher, it's gone. It is gone. I mean, I don't want no problems remaining in the year. Right. So he agrees to it. We shake hands, boom. I said, hey, look, now if he didn't the rest of the year, he would have got anything he wanted. I think he wanted like a 360 SBot Live, whatever. All right. So we agreed to it. We shook hands, whatever. I got 2 calls yesterday at work. So anytime I get a call, anytime I get a call at work, we got problems. All right. I get home. He says, Dad, I got detention. What else you got? That's what I said. What else you got? Huh? What do you mean, huh? What else you do? I said, oh, let's let you know your 2 teachers emailed me and they called me.
Oh.
Look, his eyes got like this big. I said, hey, so you know about to happen, right? He said, yeah. He puts his hand up, he rubs his hair. I gotta get my hair cut. I said, exactly. Cause you agreed to it, man to man, right? He said, yes, I did. I said, okay, cool. He said, so when we go to the barbershop, I said, well, I'm gonna take you to the barbershop. I got clippers upstairs. I said, I got clippers upstairs. So don't get in the shower tonight. Whatever. So we eat dinner and everything else. He walks past me. I said, oh, stop. What you doing? No shower. Go to my bedroom right now. Go to my bathroom. We about to cut that hair. Hey, I didn't give him no bald head. But look, the things I wanted to do to that head, look, I wanted him to look like a tiger. Okay, we'll come back to it.
Oh my God, not a tiger.
I am a tiger.
Hi, hello. Welcome to. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, hi. Is this Mega?
Yes, it is.
Hi,
Hey, Mega.
Mega.
Miss Tamika, I won't be too long.
Okay.
But because I don't want you to, kick me off like you said. I'm gonna say my piece. I think one of the problems we have in this world and our culture is who's at home. Nobody's at home. Nobody's there to cultivate the children's needs, wants when they get off from school. Back in the day, one father could take care of the whole household. Mom was there to cultivate the child's growth, schoolwork, and dad was there on the weekends to deal with during the daytime to be the enforcer and on the weekends to cultivate their sports or whatever the case may be. Nobody's at home. You either got single parent or you got 2 working parents. There's nobody that's actually at home. Statistics will show you that in a 2-parent household, if there's the mother or somebody doesn't work, the child has a better chance to succeed in society versus to being a latchkey kid. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gone.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Mr. Mega. We appreciate you for calling in and for supporting us every week.
Yes.
Hey, I'm gonna call you Megatron, man.
Thank you. So who is our next caller? Do you have any questions for Utica? Let's not forget Utica has a foundation that can assist us in the community. If you have children that that or you're aware, or maybe your kids' friends or whatever in the Wake County area need hygiene products and being bullied, or right, Utica?
That's true.
We can send them over to her foundation and she will help them, because sometimes kids bully you because they think you smelly. They think you don't have the best clothes, all those type of stuff. So we have a solution.
They can bully you because they smelly and you
smell good.
Hey, but look, I'm gonna finish my story real quick till somebody else calls in. So he came upstairs. I put the guards on. I want to give him a tiger stripe head. I swear, but I ain't do it. I cut it down low. All the little curls came out. What I did do, though, to let him know he wanted to be a class clown, I helped him out. I gave him a slant like this. Hey, he said, Dad, what you doing? I said, you want to be a class clown? We'll help you out. Now, with that being said, I talked to him. Dad, said, hey, man, I was cool. I love your haircut. It looks dope. He says, Dad, but everybody laughed at me. I said, well, is that my fault or is that your fault? He said, it's my fault because I acted up. We made a bed and everything else. So he understood everything. So I said, so you want your hairstyle back? He said, yeah. I said, you need to do. He said, yeah. I said, okay. Because the next time I give you a haircut, you'll be looking like a leopard. I'm going to put big old dots in your head. I ain't even playing with him.
How old is he, Blaine?
11.
Wow. Well,
That was a good one.
That
Good
was a good one.
parenting.
tough
Hey,
parent.
I remember last year, I coached cheerleading, and my daughter was on my cheerleading squad, and I said you had to have a certain grade, and I think she had a C or something, and everybody was surprised that I put her on probation.
Right.
Like, I was like, well, you know what? She's like, well, Mom, that's not even a grade. It doesn't matter. That's my grade. As your mother, you're on probation. And she literally had to go to the game and watch everybody else cheer. One year she came home with the C, and I made her wear a uniform to school for a whole 9 weeks.
Oh wow.
One that I put together. I went to Family Dollar and got some ugly shoes, and I went to Walmart and got a white, what was it, a polo shirt and some 2 pair of khaki pants and 2 polo shirts. And what she did was she went to school the first day. No, I had 1 pair of khaki and 1 pair of blue, whatever. She went to school the first day and decided to play soccer. Child has never played soccer a day in her life and messed up the pants. You know what I did? Wash them and wear them anyway.
Oh no, you and Blaney to have a class, a tough parent class.
Okay, can you hold on? I'm answering. Hello. Welcome to WTP. You have some
we about to hang up on you.
I'm sorry.
Hello?
Hello. You have some background noise and we barely can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. What's your question?
We can't hear you. Next caller.
Hello.
All right, we talk to you later. Call back.
We'll talk to you later. But there's a question for
The country.
I guess.
I'm sorry. They were calling from out of the country, whomever it was.
Oh wow. Call back. So there's a question for our guest. Megan wants to know, how do we keep the government out of our homes?
You can't. I mean, you got, look.
Dang, it's for the guest.
What?
It's for you, Tika.
The question is for you, Tika.
Hey, you lucky, bro. But go ahead.
No, you go ahead and answer it, Blaine.
I'm saying that.
No.
I just want to say two.
No.
I want to say 2 things. I just want to say one thing on it. All right. For people that don't realize it, you can look at this case up. It's a murder case. It got nothing to do with it. If you got Alexa, take it out your house.
Exactly.
All right? Alexa records everything, and it's in a witness trial right now for a murder.
They ain't answer the question.
Hello.
It is.
Thank you
Yes,
for
it
calling WTP Speak Up. What's your name and where you calling
Hello?
from? Hi.
But somebody told me, somebody's asking my questioning.
Yes, you can call in. What's your question?
I just want to have a comment that I want to make.
Sure, go right ahead. Where are you calling from? I see that you're calling from out of the country.
We're calling from South Korea.
Lena!
Hello, Erica.
That's my family.
Oh,
Yeah, we're calling all the way from South Korea. This is Erica's little sister, Lena.
Wait a minute. Y'all can go on. We're gonna have a talk after this, okay?
And my mom, we enjoy watching you guys' podcast.
Oh, thank you. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
your support. What can we?
Thank you. We enjoy y'all's topics. I just want to go ahead and just elaborate what my older sister said.
Go right ahead.
I just want to elaborate what she said. She said that it's really important for parents to make sure they have a calm response when talking to their children. I'm actually getting my bachelor's in early child care and education, and what we're talking about is parents have to be more reluctant as to when they talk to their children. And it's really important to make sure that you hear what your child has to say in order to get a better and fluent response in order to help them. And so I just, A+ for my sister. That was very good.
Thank you, Lena. You better support your sister, girl. Thank you.
Love
for
you.
You better tell your sister you did good, girl.
Now you gonna eat some Odyssey. Oh, out of your mind.
Okay.
Those are people. How can they eat? How can she eat them? That's an old man and an old woman. You just
Oh, you know Korean. Okay, let me
Yes.
stop.
Okay, she lived in Korea. Let's not forget. Thank you for calling.
All right, well, thank you guys. You guys
bye, Lena. Love you.
Hey, thank you for calling in.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Hey, that was good. Hey, that was good. But on a serious note, though,
You didn't answer the question.
So the question.
Let Utica answer.
Hey, we at 9:06. I'm gonna let us go to look. We getting so many hits right now. Look, I'm gonna let us go like 9:15, 9:20 if the crew is good with it.
Yes.
All right. So, with that being said,
Utica's about to answer the question.
okay, go ahead. Oh, sorry.
So Mega's question on how not to have the government in your household.
How to keep the government out of your household. Hard.
I mean, he have to. My question to him is, what do he mean by that? I mean,
Exactly.
Government-wise, they regulate our cell phones, they regulate our TVs. So how yeah, I need a little bit more on that.
I need a high five. There we go. Because you know what? Alexa, hey, look, I'm telling y'all right now, look, on a serious note, y'all can look this up. I'm being dead serious. Alexa is being used as a witness for a murder case because it records everything. Even though it's just sitting there.
Don't your phone do that too?
Well, you know what? If my phone does, I'm throwing it out the window tonight. But
what kind of phone do that?
But no, I'm just saying Alexa does it though. No, but I don't know the phone does it, but I know Alexa does it. Alexa does it because it's being used as a witness.
She a snitch.
But you have
because I have created a skill for Alexa.
Well,
I can vouch for that, and yeah.
We already know snitches sit together.
Excuse you.
Dwayne, calm down.
Coming for me.
If you really tried it, Tamika.
You say I was a snitch?
That's what it sounds
so
like.
So you got an Alexa.
You have to go through.
Let me see. Can I get them together? So you have an Alexa on your phone that you don't even have to install. So watch your back, bro, because I'm gonna log into you. Okay? Don't forget. I'm Mrs. IT.
I'm a read some of the comments. I'm a victim's advocate.
And look, I got somebody I want you to tap into.
I definitely.
Don't be trying to.
I got a couple of people myself.
All right, hey, we have some serious comments from Brittany Williams. Hi, I'm a victim's advocate for Denmark Police Department in South Carolina. I'm definitely anti-bullying. What's the most popular programs in y'all area helping the communities who were victimized? Now, I don't know if she's asking for Raleigh or she really wasn't clear on that.
What particular state and city are you talking about?
Well, she's in South Carolina, so I'm thinking that she want to relate to somebody in Raleigh or in North Carolina.
No, she said South Carolina.
Yeah, but I don't.
She's in South Carolina, but she's asking what's the most popular programs in the area.
In our area.
Who are victimized. She's talking about we all need to help the communities by releasing. Yeah. And Mega said, Miss Utica, he said, from raising our children.
Oh, well, that's hard. That's very hard. Me being involved with my son, I don't had cops at my house numerous times. It was to the last point where the cop was like, ma'am, he have more bruises on him. If we have to come back, you going to jail and not your child.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So.
And look, and would that be, man, it pissing me off so bad. When
somebody will tell me I can't spank my kid, I'm telling you right now, I'm spanking them.
Look, and this is the thing about it. That's why I say prison reform, everybody needs to educate themselves. Don't think prison reform is a reform. It's a reform how to keep
them in prison.
Keep them in prison, basically, because you got to think about it. Every time somebody's pulled over, you're doing at least 5 to 10 years, the minimum.
If you live.
And that's another subject we're going to talk about later on. But with that being said, like y'all parents, everybody that's on here, I don't care who you are, you need to educate your kids. You need to educate your kids. This is the severity, what can happen. I think a lot of people, parents like me, we say, hey, I discipline my kids good enough. It won't happen to my kids. But you don't understand. When they get around their friends and they get influenced, it's no telling what can happen to your kids. And then you get called up by your son or your daughter in jail for doing something you had no idea that it was doing.
Right.
You gotta educate these kids. And that is plain and simple. Like, these kids will get in their system and they will not get out. Once you get flagged or you get something on you, unless you got a lawyer, you got your parents got money, you done.
That's why it's important as parents that we are able to communicate with understanding, but communicate effectively. Like, for example, my daughter came to me the other I hope it's okay for me to share, whatever. My daughter, we had a conversation about drugs. And she asked me a question, and I was very honest with her. I was like, look, it feel good in the beginning, but then, you know, and when she was sharing, we were talking about it with another adult friend of mine, and they were like, why did you tell her that? You told her that you've experienced this? And I'm like, I'm going to be honest with my kid because, first of all, I want them to know that they can come to me and mommy's going to give her the truth, first of all. And second of all, I'm going to protect my child by any means necessary. So if it takes me sharing a part of my past that I might not want everybody to know, I'm going to do that if it's going to save my kid. You know, back in the day, we would go through things and people would say, you're going through this for somebody else. You're going through this for somebody else. We've always been told that, right? But that somebody else is your kid. Most of the times, the things that our children are going through, we've already went through the same thing. Exactly. So we've got some type of cheat sheet to help them get through whatever they're getting through. What we do as parents, we hide that part from them because we don't want them to think that we fallen short. No, I fell short and then I fixed it.
So it's like when you was coming to a kid, and your parents are telling you everything they went through, and you was like, oh, dad, whatever, oh, mom, whatever. When I get out, I'm gonna do this and whatever. It's the same thing. So don't think they're gonna believe you because you say something. Now, with that being said, Brandon Moore, I'm looking at the message. He said you got to be a parent and a friend to your child. No. My personal perception is I'm gonna be one way with my child, and my kid could tell you. You can ask them today. I am not your friend. I'm your parent. Period. We could be friends when you're 18 years old because my job is to raise you. And do whatever else, discipline you. So when you're 18 and you get on your own, you can fend for yourself. You can do whatever else. You want to hang out, you want to drink, or when you're 21, we good. You know.
I don't think Brandon Moore meant that, Blaine. I think he meant more so.
Well, I mean,
friend as a way to.
Well, that's how I take it.
To you.
Okay, well, that's why we got multiple people here to get different intakes on it. So one thing I will say is this. I always tell people that there are two things I'm solely responsible for as a parent.
Okay,
and that's to be honest and to be consistent. As a parent, those are my two main goals: to be honest with my kids and be consistent with my kids. Not be one way one day and another way other. I'm not gonna be this person they can't come to. I'm sorry. And if you're an iron fist type parent, they're not going to come to you about everything. I don't care who you think you are.
You're right.
You're right. They're not going to come to you. So you have to be able to be. You have to see you being human. They have to see.
And I can relate to that because you know what? When I first got in the military, I was so. When I won custody of my kids, and I was so fresh out of the military. I was so hardcore and so straightforward, blah, 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 blah. Like they was in the military. But that hurt me too, because then I realized they didn't want to tell me anything. They didn't want to relate to me. They want to, yeah, I'm doing it. But at the same time, it's like, you know, they messed up. They were scared to tell me. So what I had to learn to do was to like take it from here all the way down here, relate to my kids, you know, be open with them and let them know, hey, look, it's okay to mess up. I mess up too. And plus their grandma and granddad helped them know that I messed up plenty of times. But with that being said, it as a parent, you just can't be hardcore on them. You can't, because like Lenny said, you won't have a doorway. The door will always stay closed. There will be no opening or whatever else. Blaine, you got for
listen, it is 9:16. We are well over our time limit. We want to say thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
We appreciate you. We want you to list your information, how our viewers can reach out to you, how we can be a part of helping you.
I'm making trying to go to sleep.
and how we can assist you. Because do you guys receive donations for the hygiene products?
We do receive travel size donations. We use hygiene items and also feminine hygiene products we receive donations for. You can reach us on our website, soaroutreach.com, or we're also on Facebook. You can also send us an email at info@soaroutreach.com, or you can give us a call at our number, which is 919-651-4397.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Hey, can you do us a favor?
I sure can.
Comments and put that information in there and list that so that we can have direct contact. All of our viewers, I want to say to you, we're going to wrap this up. This has been a great show tonight. We want you to support Utica, support our community, support other parents. This is our whole motto, parents helping parents, and make sure that we're doing everything we can to be great influences in our children's lives and the lives in the community of children in the community as well, because somebody may be going lacking. It takes a village.
Yes, definitely.
So Lenny, did you have any final quick words that you want to say before we close out?
I just want to say that to all the parents, a lot of times we look at these things and we watch what people say, listen to what people say, and sometimes we can kind of be down on ourselves. But this is the thing: when God blessed you with those children, He gave you everything that you needed to be the parents for those children. I think the key is to trust your own judgment when it comes to your child, and not be afraid to do what your instincts is telling you to do for your child. Right. Nobody else has to understand your parenting. No one else has to, because that is your child, and you have everything within you to parent that child the way the child needs to be parented. I think it's important that we don't just think that everybody else is right and everything. You have to learn from these sessions. You need to take what you can take and put on reserve what you need to put on reserve, because everything that everybody says might not be what's for your child. Only person knows that is you. So trust your own judgment and know that you can parent your child and your child can be successful. You have everything that it takes for your child to make it in this environment that we're in. So that's all I have to say.
Well done.
Hey, with that being said, hey, we got a live show February 9th. Make sure that
we were going to get to that. I was actually just giving everybody an opportunity to close out.
Pump your brakes, Blaine.
Mega just told you got 4 of them on the show.
Hey, nobody listen to Mega. Hey, Mega. Hey.
Listen.
All right, I'm sorry.
Okay, so Mr. Way, can you give us your closeout statements?
No, I'm done now. Mega,
okay, Erica, give us your closeout statements, beautiful.
Thank you.
So basically, and just to piggyback off of Lenny, I think the most important thing is to communicate with your children. Make sure you get to the root of what it is that is really bothering them. I'm a true advocate for having a lot of people involved. Like as a single mom, I've got friends that Ray can go to. I've got aunties, I've got cousins, just a lot of people who would have a good influence on her besides myself. And definitely, if you are needing help with your child, don't feel alone. Definitely research within your community to find out who can help you. What programs can you get your child involved in? But certainly, don't give up and don't let them fall into the hands of the system.
Awesome. Thank you, Erica. So Blaine, one last time, you don't have any comments that you like to say, because we are going to talk about our—
You hurt his feelings.
We'll be all right. So listen, guys, like Blaine was trying to tell you, February 9th, we have a super—
hold on, Lenny, hold on just a second, because there's a lot of details in that I don't think everybody knows. Okay, so we're going to go into that to talk about our event. There's a lot of details that you guys don't know because it just happened right before the show. Am I right, Blaine? Didn't we get some details that just happened right before the show?
I was just trying to tell them the date, Lord.
No, what everybody was talking about was on February 9th. What you see us doing here, we're going to do it live in front of you on February 9th. We have a location. We're going to have some wine. We're going to have some entertainment. We got a DJ. We're going to have artists that's going to perform. We got full course meal. So come with your stomachs ready.
Wait now. Full course meal.
Full course meal.
A full course meal. So listen, on February 9th, what day is it again, Lenny?
I ain't giving no date. You give date.
Blaine?
It's February 9th.
Hey, February 9th. February 9th. We hope to see everybody there.
At 5 o'clock? Is that
5 o'clock, Megatron.
everybody? We wanna
That's this
see
full
you.
meal. We gotta talk about this full meal now.
And tickets are about to go on sale, so we want you to pay attention to
Going
our
on sale Monday.
They
It's gonna be a potluck. You talking about a full meal.
So,
Everybody bring some crackers.
Lenny, it's tea.
Shoot.
right.
All right. Hey, with that being said, though, hey, look,
Bring
thank you.
some tea.
Hey, with that being said, thank you to
Lenny.
everybody joining in. And I'm glad you had you was able to tune in, have a good show, everything. And look, we catch y'all next week for our next show, next Thursday. Where we bring on Anthony Jackson, nonprofit that's giving back to veterans, doing big things and everything else. All right. Until then, we'll holla at y'all.
Good night.
Bring your crackers. I like Ritz.
Oh, you just stop.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you for coming on, of course.
Thank you.
I don't know
Thank
how to
you,
stop
guys.
this again.
You're fired from doing this, Blaine. Getting
look.
us off, getting us off live.
You
Live,
really
have a
can't- you
conversation.
really can't fire- Oh, there we go.
Together.
Boom.